Welcome to Plum Radio. This is our weekly Instagram live show where we talk about news, politics, and pop culture from the lens of the Asian perspective. I'm your host, Dolly Lee. This is my co-host, Joey Yang.
Hey everyone, happy Sunday, happy Mother's Day, everyone.
Happy Mother's Day. What a blessed day to actually have our amazing guest, Jimmy, join us. For people who don't know who Jimmy O Yang is, he is what I think is the star of Silicon Valley. He was in Crazy Rich Asians, actor and comedian. He just put out a new comedy special on Amazon Video, so that's something that you guys can watch with mom today too.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing like a little bit stand-up comedy for your Mother's Day. Why not?
Have you watched much Silicon Valley?
Oh my God! I mean, it's like the evening news for me. Like living in Silicon Valley, right? Like I had a coworker who's like, this isn't a TV show. This is a documentary. So yeah, absolutely. I'm a huge Silicon Valley fan, especially as a recovering tech industry worker. I love Silicon
Joey's
Valley.
recovering.
And Jin Yang is such an amazing character in Silicon Valley. He's just like he's always up to something, and I can appreciate that so much.
We're going to be talking about a few things, catching up on the week before Jimmy joins us on the show. So make sure you're tuned in. Invite your moms. Moms love this. My mom is a new Jimmy O Yang fan too.
Who isn't these days?
It's true. But yes, so before we get the show started, I wanted to thank, I think we have almost 30 Patreon subscribers now?
28.
We just launched our Patreon.
New subscribers
28.
Thank you so much to everyone. So we want to give everyone a shout out right here on the show. So I'm going to go ahead and kick us off. I want to say thank you to our supporters, Patricia, Jack, John, Lindsay, Lori, Alana, Michael T, Mike F, Melissa, Daphne, LG, and Diana, and that's only half the list.
That's only half. To keep it going, Carolyn, Bruce Wang, our cowboy from China, Shiwa, Skylar, Ruben, Michael, my cousin, Cole, Natalie, Dr. Trilliums, Pearl, Janice, Lucky, and of course,
last but definitely not least, and in fact, the first, our first subscriber on Patreon, Christine Cooper, the cowboy we share.
Yes, Coop.
So thankful for you. We love you and we love all of our supporters. Thank you so much for supporting us. We want to be a listener-funded show so we can be accountable to no one but our listeners. So what do you get from us on Patreon? Exclusive monthly bonus episodes, all the stuff that's too spicy for the live. We have Q&As and virtual film screenings like the one that we hosted for the half of it. And you get to support independent media you can trust. We're going to tell it to you straight. We're not accountable to any corporate overlords or advertisers or sponsors or anything like that. We're accountable to y'all. So thank you so much to everyone for helping us make this happen. After the show's over, go to patreon.com/plumradio and smash that support button.
Smash that support button.
We'll get you a shout out on the show next week.
Yes, thank you everyone who's already supported us on Patreon. It definitely means a lot, as someone who's worked in media for a while, I know how hard it is to kind of push some of our Asian stories forward. Thank you everyone for tuning in right now. Jimmy O Yang will be joining us at 4:20. And now, let's run through our weekly segment, our favorite weekly segment.
A whole of the week, and the whole is extra big this week.
Whole is extra big. So people are new to us. We do a whole and blessing of the week to both get rid of all the cursed things in life and bless the show to bring us to a better tomorrow. So our whole of the week, a tough conversation, but one that I think the community really needs to have. So our whole this week is calling attention to some of the Asian Americans who don't understand why we need to talk about Ahmaud Arbery's death. So people who don't know about this, Ahmaud Arbery was killed in February. That was 2 months ago. And he was killed by two white men in his neighborhood while he was jogging through Georgia on his regular routine. And these two white men saw him, assumed he was a burglar, grabbed their guns and chased him down in their pickup truck and shot him. 2 months later, they still weren't arrested. They just were this week. But 2 months later, they still weren't arrested because there was no evidence. And people eventually this week, this viral video came out where you could actually see essentially this public lynching of an innocent man. And that was when the public outrage led to people calling for the arrest of these two killers. Now, something that I think is so important for us to think about, when we're talking about how coronavirus is affecting the Asian American community, is thinking about how existence has been affecting other communities of color for so long, right? Like in the same way that Asians shouldn't be criminalized for their skin color because of COVID-19, it is a fucking shame that Black Americans in 2020 still have to be fearful of going out to just jog.
Yeah, definitely. And it's so upsetting, for folks who watch the video to see it. It is a lynching. It's a modern day lynching, and I understand when people are saying like, yeah, but we get beat up too, and I want to be clear that violence and racism against Asian Americans is not new. This is not something that we're just now finding out. In the same way that unfortunately, violence against our Black American brothers and sisters is also messed up. So for folks that have been saying like, yeah, we also suffer and we're also, yeah, you're exactly right. And we can all look at this situation and say it's fucked up. And if anyone getting beaten up or shot or anything, it's all not acceptable. And we're not here for any of this. So in the same way that when we're out in public and now we're fearful of it's not in the same way that it's not a crime to cough on the street or on the train while being Asian. It's not a crime to walk on the sidewalk while being Asian. It's not a crime to run while being Black. And we all know that like anti-Blackness exists in our community and in so many communities around the world. And part of it comes from media, part of it comes from culture. But we can't stand for any of this when we hear it in our own lives. I mean, these are really uncomfortable topics to talk about, and these conversations are inevitably going to be extremely uncomfortable because it sucks. No one wants to talk about it. But if we don't start these conversations in our own communities, who will?
Absolutely. And so that's why I think it's so important to bring attention to what happened to Ahmaud Arbery. It's so important that today on Mother's Day, we think about Ahmaud Arbery's mom. We think about all the Black moms who have lost their children and moms who have sacrificed so much for their children, right? Our own immigrant mothers who have given up so much for us to be here. So our blessing for this week goes out to all the moms for this amazing Mother's Day. Bless your mom, Joey. Leichu in Ohio.
Shout out to Mom at home in Ohio, hanging out. They're making some rofan tonight. So actually, my dad is gonna make it for my mom. Shout out to him, as well. And so yeah, she's gonna get treated a little later. So we're thinking of her. Sorry, I can't be with her today, but glad that they're staying safe and healthy.
So yes, a little incense to bless the show before we have our special guest on, so that the ancestors know that we're here. This is our ritual on Plum Radio, a whole and a blessing. Our show has been blessed.
All right.
Oh, that smells pretty good. So you guys, Jimmy O Yang will be joining us shortly. Make sure to send this Instagram live to all of your friends. And if you have questions for Jimmy, throw them in the comments below. Joey's gonna help me look through them and pick out some of the... Don't send stupid questions because we don't got time for stupid questions.
Oh, there's no such thing as stupid questions.
Joey, I'll see you next week, and let's welcome on Jimmy O Yang now that we've blessed the show.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see y'all next week. Take care.
I gotta be a good Asian everywhere now. I gotta tip everywhere I go. Chinese tip, it doesn't matter how big your bill is, you tip $2. That's a good deal.
Oh my God, hey! Hi!
What's up?
Where are you?
I'm in my house, trying to get
You
some
live
sun.
in the
but
woods? Oh,
yeah,
yes.
I got this little garden. Yes, I do live in the woods. I got this little garden, try to get some sun, whenever I could.
Yes, I love this. Wait, can we get a tour?
You can look at the garden here. There's a little koi pond back there, but there's no koi, it's just like disgusting green water.
Oh
And let's see,
no.
this way, there's a pool there, a couple chairs.
Ooh.
I'll give you
Do
this
you know it
exterior tour.
snowed? It snowed in New York yesterday.
What's the
Just
temperature?
seeing your pool and this greenery I'm just like kind of upset.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to not give you FOMO here.
You guys, this is Jimmy O Yang. Send this Instagram live to a few of your friends. Make sure they join in. Send hearts. Welcome him onto the show. Thank you for joining us on Plum Radio.
Oh yeah, let's do this. Big fan of yours, Dolly, for the people that don't know. I actually
Thank
reached out to
you.
Dolly after me and all of my friends saw her AJ Plus documentary series on the Mississippi Delta Asians and many more.
Thank
We're
you.
all big fans of that.
Yes. I was so floored. I was like, wow, me? People have seen my work. That's always how I feel whenever I hear that
They
people have seen
do.
my
You're a
work.
legend amongst like the Asian community, especially because I swear every Asian person at work or not knows about this Mississippi Delta Asians and my favorite, the cowboy guy, Bruce.
Yes. Bruce, I think Bruce might be watching actually.
Oh
Bruce,
my
if
God,
you're
Bruce!
watching,
I'm a big fan of yours, Bruce. My dream is to play
Bruce, send
Bruce in a movie.
hearts.
I swear, I'm not
We'll
kidding.
find Bruce, we'll chat later. Jimmy's a fan. So Jimmy, you have a new show on Amazon, new comedy special. It was awesome. I just watched it last
Oh,
night.
thanks. That's awesome.
How's it feel? Now that it's out, you're getting more reception for it.
It feels good. The comments have been so positive. People, messaging me and like, putting on the Instagram stories and stuff. It's been really, really great. But obviously, it feels a little disconnected because I'm just at home, so I don't know what the real reaction on the streets is. And obviously, I'm not going into the comedy club to chat with my buddies and stuff. But it feels really good, man. The special was 10 years in the making, so I'm
Why do you
quite
say
proud
it's
of it.
10 years in the making?
Because I started stand up 10, 11 years ago, and this is my very first special. It takes,
Hmm.
I mean, that's not surprising. It takes 10 years to get an hour of material that you're happy about, you know. Like you
That's
see a lot of
true.
these like Instagram or YouTube stars that try to do stand up. They were never a stand up just because they got a following now. They're fucking horrible, you know. And then they try to do a special, and it's a fucking joke.
Well, I noticed that in the special there are lots of digs on dad, but no digs on mom.
There's a couple nice things on mom.
Nice digs on mom.
Yeah.
My mom, after we were listening to your audiobook, became a Jimmy O Yang fan.
Yeah, that's
After
so
the
great.
Zhao Fo Yap Mo.
The very specific Cantonese slangs. I love that when people understand those things.
Will you wish my mom a happy Mother's Day in Cantonese?
How do you
Can
say
you
it?
do it?
母親節快樂係咪啊?
Yeah.
What's your mom's name?
Lily.
Lily, 母親節快樂. 你好.
Oh my God, send hearts, yes.
Gotta say,
She's
hang
probably,
on. I screwed up. I gotta say Auntie Lily, because that's how we refer to people in a different
yes.
generation.
With
Auntie
respect,
Lily.
with respect.
Yeah. So Auntie Lily, 母親節快樂. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So Jimmy, you're actually from Hong Kong. I think a lot of people assume that you were born and raised in the U.S.
Born and raised in Hong Kong until I was 13. Yeah.
And so, what made your parents leave Hong Kong to come here?
Probably part of it was the communists, handing the Hong Kong handing back to the communists in 1997, because my parents were born and raised during the Communist Revolution. They got screwed pretty bad. So there's, a fear of that. And if you would ask my dad, though, he wouldn't tell you that. He would just say it's for me and my brother's education, which I think is fair.
That's fair, yeah.
There's great schools in Hong Kong, but I think there's just more opportunities and more, like, say UCLA or USC or whatever. That's just more internationally more prestigious. And of course, I didn't get into either of those colleges, so whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, your family's Shanghainese. You guys grew up in Hong Kong. You guys must be speaking so many different dialects and languages in your house.
It's so interesting. You understand that. Most people don't, right? And we speak Shanghainese in my household. Sometimes it will bust out some Cantonese phrases, and now with the English sprinkled in, so it's and some Mandarin even. So it's very a quadrilingual household.
Yes, I remember I was doing some reporting in Shanghai, and I met this this uncle who's also a bald man with glasses. I don't know if this is just a Shanghainese man thing.
That's a Shanghainese man thing, yeah.
But he taught me that this phrase I always assumed was a Cantonese phrase, hambalang, is actually a Shanghainese phrase. Have you heard
Say
of
that
this?
again?
Hambalang, like all of that crap, hambalang.
Oh, Hambalang, Hambalang. Yeah.
Is that a
That's a,
Shanghainese phrase?
it is. It's I've heard my dad say it. It's a very old man Shanghainese phrase. It's interesting. Like my Shanghainese, I speak perfect Shanghainese, but it's old people Shanghainese because I only learned it and speak it to my family. So like if I ever speak to like a younger generation of Shanghainese kids, they're like, "What the fuck? Why are you talking like an old
Yeah.
man?"
That's what people were telling me when I lived in Hong Kong, that I speak Cantonese like an old lady.
That makes sense.
Like,
Yeah.
going from like Hong Kong to the US, and you became a US citizen not that long ago, right?
Like 3 years ago, honestly. Like seriously, not that long. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Congrats.
Thanks. Just signing up for some paperwork. I think it was a long time. I mean, because after I think you got your green card for like 5 to 7 years, you can get it after you turn 18. I think that's the process. But I never thought it would make any difference, you know, and it's like a $700 fee. You got to go take these classes and tests. But then my buddy told me, it's like, hey, man, like if you commit a felony, even like a DUI or something, you can get deported. So I was like, oh, fuck it. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, you gotta do it. You gotta do it. Can you tell everyone how basic you've scammed people with your name, your real name, the O Yang?
Oh, the Oh Yang. Yeah. So,
Did you change that when you became a citizen?
no, my legal name is Ouyang, Ouyang. You know, that was my second name when I went on stage. My first name when I went on stage, I went by a name called Lowball Jim. It's just like a dumb little joke. It's so stupid. And then I used my real spelling of the last name is I went on stage as Jimmy Ouyang, Ouyang, Ouyang. But nobody can pronounce it. It's 4 vowels
Right.
together, Ouya.
It's like the only Chinese last name I know that's actually 2 characters.
Sito is also another one, and then there's a couple more.
Yes.
But like Hayden Sito, great actor, good friend of mine. The Ouyang thing, it just threw people off because it didn't sound Japanese, didn't sound Chinese, didn't sound Korean.
Right.
And I've always wanted to kind of like rep Asians, like be more Asian.
Yeah.
I mean, I am fully 100% Asian, but you got examples of the opposite, right? And I don't blame them. Like Chloe Bennett, she's a friend, but her real name is a real Chinese last name, but she changed it to Bennett, I think, mother's maiden name. So I actually want to do the opposite. I want to sound more Asian. So I changed it to Jimmy O as the middle initial, and then Yang. And also it became much easier for word of mouth. It's like, yo, did you see that Jimmy Yang guy, Jimmy O on YouTube, or like go watch this dude. And then it's crazy. Once I changed that name, the same videos that I had uploaded on Facebook, YouTube of my old stand-up started like blowing up because people was like, yo, watch this Chinese brother like do this. And one of the big communities that really like were fans for my stand-up from the get-go were the Hmong community. Because
That's cool.
Yang was a very popular name in the Hmong community. And not that I was fronting to be Hmong, but they were like, yo, check out this brother. He might be Hmong or he's Chinese or like whatever. Check him out. And like it spread like crazy. I remember the day I put on my first video as Jimmy O. Yang, like it got like 3-4 million views. And then that's how a lot of people were introduced to my stand-up. This was, I don't know, 6-7 years ago now.
That's wild. Just that little name change, huh?
Yeah,
That's so crazy.
Because I mean, it's like even if you see, it's people are like so simple if you boil down to it. If you see like Lee, Kim, Yang, like it's a very obvious Asian name. You're like, oh, that's an Asian brother. Let's support him. The
Right.
Like when you see that, you don't even Chinese people aren't really sure what that is, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, is he like adopted? Was he like Indonesian? Like, or is he like not
Is
even
he
like?
Indonesian?
Is he from Kazakhstan? You know, one of those Kazakhstan people that look Asian. Who knows? So then they don't get behind you. But then you got a simple Asian last name. But I still always want to keep that O part.
Yeah.
Instead of just going by Jimmy Yang. You know.
Do you ever lie to people and tell them that the O stands for something?
I should now. I never
You
thought about it.
should.
Yeah. But it's almost like a Simpsons joke. I don't know if you're a big fan of The Simpsons, but the O
Yes,
literally
yes.
stands for O. And there's an episode of Simpsons where he finds out he has a middle initial, Homer J. Simpson, and
And it's
goes through the whole episode finding what that J meant, and it actually just meant J, like Jay. You know?
that's perfect. That's
Yeah.
perfect. We got a lot of questions actually from our listeners
Oh,
about
let's do it.
Jin Yang, of course.
Sure.
Everyone loves Jin Yang, and Silicon Valley came out at a time when I was actually still living in Oakland as well. So
Oh, wow.
it was
Yeah.
just too real. It was too real. And something that I think is amazing about Jin Yang's character is that you really take the immigrant accent and you determine what it means.
Hmm.
So did people give you backlash for putting on the immigrant accent?
Yeah, in the
And
beginning.
what do you think
Yeah.
of it?
In the beginning, yeah, I think first season, especially Mashable, wrote a very
Mm,
strong, opinionated article about me, but you know they can go fuck themselves. Uh,
yeah, you know what? People, Twitter
I don't know
is a
Mashable at all.
whole.
Just because of that article, they can
It
go
went
fuck
under.
themselves.
It
But
went under.
you know, they had a point though. You know, because there's so few of us representing that when you have a very, especially in season one, he was a very one-dimensional. Just kind of his jokes were based on his foreignness. So sort of representation was kind of amplified because there's just not that many of us out there representing back in the day, especially, right? Um, but at the same time, you know what was disheartening was, of course, it was an Asian reporter that was writing that article. I'm like, hey, man, just let an Asian
Mm.
brother work. What are you trying to do? Kill my career? Go fuck yourself, lady. You know? But then I think as season two went on, it went up to like season five, six. By the end, he became a very three-dimensional, diabolical, like kind of
Completely diabolical.
multifaceted character. Much more than just his accent. And I always loved Jing Yang, still till today. And Yeah, man. So for me, I always just approach it like as an actor, you know, trying to play the
Hmm.
accent instead of like some generic, like try to do like a Bruce Lee, like haphazard impression. I always try to just pull from people I knew in life. So it's kind of like an almost Shanghainese Mandarin accent.
Yeah.
And credit to the creators, like Mike Judge, first day on set, like was like, I told him the difference. I'm like, okay, do you want me to do a Cantonese accent or Mandarin accent? He was like, yo, you know better. You do what. So he gave me a lot of ownership in that. And, you know, I just try to play it authentically and even certain misunderstandings or cultural things. I just try to play it based on people I know and based on, you know, experiences I had myself. And for me, I guess
Hmm.
I come from a unique perspective. I wasn't born here. I came here with an accent, so who am I to say I can't play another person with an accent? That's a bit ridiculous to me.
Right, right. I think what's interesting about it is that it brings up this dynamic I always talk about when Asian Americans want to disassociate themselves from Asians. And at the end of the day, you know, very much like what you saw in Bruce's story, they only see Oriental when they look at you. They don't care about what you have attached to your Asianness,
Hmm.
right? And
Hmm.
that's something about the accent that I love, that it's not about caricaturizing Jin Yang, the character. It's really, it just is a facet of who he is, and
Yeah,
he is the one who basically takes everyone down.
yeah, which is so great. Like now, he's not the stereotypical docile foreign guy with an accent. He happens to have an accent, but he's very
Hmm.
evil and kind of, you know, multi-dimensional. You know, um, it's to me very going backwards if we kind of shun our brothers and sisters with accents, you know,
Hmm.
because I do remember first coming to this country. Of course, like nobody wanted to hang out with the foreign kid, the fresh off the boat kid. But one thing in particular was when ABCs, people that were born Asians that were born in America, they were the one that really didn't want nothing to do with this fresh off the boat kid
Mm,
because they don't want to be looked at fresh off the boat. So, they do have that militantness to them sometimes, and I never really appreciated that. So, if I were to play, I mean, as a career choice, I'm probably a little more picky about playing characters with accents again because I just want to do
hmm.
more of other things. And I always
Right.
approach it like, is there a reason this guy needs an accent, or is he just has an accent? You know, and that's always a conversation. And yeah, so I
Were
never
you
shy away.
able,
Yeah.
were you the one that was pushing for his character to have more depth, or how did that come about?
I think I did an authentic enough job. I think we found a great dynamic with me and TJ that the writers started writing towards that. I mean, I have
Mm,
my pitches, but I think, on that show with Mike Judge, Alec Berg, and all the great writers, they just did their thing, man. And Jing Yang, I think, became like a fan favorite. I remember Mike Judge telling me, I wasn't at this Comic Con, but Silicon Valley did a Comic Con panel, and one of the audience questions in the big hall H were like, whatever, there's 6,000 people. One of the audience questions was like, next season, will we see more of Jing Yang? This is between season 2 and 3. And then
hmm.
the whole crowd like cheered. And that's when
Wow.
Mike always told me, he was like, oh, okay. He knew that Jing Yang was like a fan favorite. So whoever asked that question, thank you very much.
You know, going from season one of Silicon Valley, I was hearing in your book that you were still driving Uber.
Yeah, that's true.
Going from there to now having a role in Crazy Rich Asians, you've got a bunch of other projects going on. What's that transition been like? Do you feel like it
Uh,
happened overnight?
It's been great. Not overnight. I mean, in my stand-up special, you hear me talking about I live in a one-bedroom apartment, okay? And
Hmm.
that joke has evolved over the years. So that joke used to be I live in a one-bedroom apartment with 2 roommates, which was absolutely true when the joke started. And then in the special, I say I live in a one-bedroom apartment. It was a very nice one-bedroom condo I had in West Hollywood. And I
That's
literally,
pricey.
I know, so basically, I shot that special in November last year, 2019. I was still living in that apartment until like 2 months ago. I just moved into this house, so things have slowly changed.
Hmm.
It's taking it one step at a time.
Do people recognize you?
They do. And I think that's a progression too. In the Uber days, nobody recognized me. In season 1 of Silicon Valley, I had 2 lines, right? Um, and then I start seeing people recognize me for my stand-up. Asian people come up to me and be like, "Oh shit, I saw you on YouTube." Whether it's a Laugh Factory
Mm,
video or one of those videos I told you about that I posted myself. And then Silicon Valley started, and this is absolutely true. Like in my special, like people come and say, "Oh shit, Jing Yang." And then I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" And they're like, "Oh man, I didn't even know you speak English in real life." I'm like, "Oh, come on, man." But now, ever since Crazy Rich Asians, that's a whole nother fan base. So now I feel like people know me as me now instead of just this stand-up guy or this Jing Yang guy, which is nice. And I feel like still, I say this every time. And when I do stand-up, I have some of the nicest fans. It's like really nice,
hmm.
polite, maybe a little nerdy, techie people from the Silicon Valley fans, and then just really like cool Asian people that feel like not just like a fan of somebody, but like, oh dude, that's my brother right there. so so
Yeah.
so so there's something nice about that. Oh, Asians never die. That's one of my favorite Asian meme accounts. That
Oh,
they just
that's my
say,
friend. Ty,
oh
Ty,
really,
send
what's
some
up, Ty?
love.
How you doing, man?
Asians Never Die is such a great supporter.
Good account. Yeah.
So yes, now you're doing lots of quarantine cooking. You're doing something with Bon Appetit.
I started writing this column for Bon Appetit, but everything has shifted. So I was supposed
I
to do
know.
this like going like because they have a home section and an out section. So I was supposed to go out in the field, try food or like whatever, and then write whatever my opinion is, right? But obviously you can't really do that. So I did a little special feature about quarantine shopping and watching cooking videos on YouTube and learning how to cook on Bon Appetit recently. And that was super fun. And I think the cooking thing is just a passion. I
Hmm.
didn't plan on making money. I'm not making money from it, but I would love to do like a cooking show in the future or just keep posting more videos. People are responding overwhelmingly well. Like each of those videos, again, like 50,000 like views on like Instagram. It's crazy.
People love that shit. I mean, what else are people doing in quarantine, right?
Right, true.
So today's Mother's Day. Are you guys gonna do anything with the fam?
Usually they come over once a week, but not this week. I had to kind of shoot something from my house. There was a couple of equipment guys and stuff that came over. So I'm like, let's just
Hmm.
be safe. Like
Yeah.
I don't worry about too much about myself getting COVID, but it'll be like really bad if my parents got it. So I stay very safe
Hmm.
so I can see them once a week. So I told them to come by next week. I'll probably call them at some point today and talk.
I'm sure they're so happy now that you're like off stand up and no longer on a talk show and actually making things that they understand.
Yeah, and you know what? Very sweet of them. They actually called me and be like they really liked the stand-up show, and I was like, you guys didn't care that I was making fun of it. And then my mom was like, well, okay, I don't look that bad. Or my dad was like, okay, I don't look that bad, but it's okay. And then my mom chimed in the background, and she was like, hey, it's not me that's watering down the soap. It's your dad, okay? So they are admitting everything is true, but they're putting blame on each other.
They're like fact checking in the background. I love that.
Yeah, I guess all
love
the
that.
stuff, the reaction stuff, my parents' reactions to the first stand-up could go into the second special. We'll see.
My dad actually still tells people that I'm on the radio.
Oh, well, that's good. I feel like on the radio is a very legitimate job, you know?
You know, for him, he's a little bit, he like switches what he needs the story to be based on who he's telling, right? So if he's talking to someone whose kid is trying to get into, say, an architecture school, he'll tell them, because I went to art school, he'll be like, oh, my daughter is an architect. And then I have to deal with this situation of explaining that I'm not, or pretending that I am.
Yeah.
Whatever is necessary.
Yeah, so you're not an architect.
Not an architect, just a journalist.
Well, that's too bad.
So, I mean,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That's what an old Asian man would say.
it's like just too bad, too bad.
Yeah.
So, other new things you have going on, other than Bon Appetit, what else should people be looking forward to?
Well, definitely watch the special. It's on Amazon Prime now. And then tweet me about it, or message me about it on Instagram. You know what? Space Force is coming out at the end of the month, May
I
29th.
saw that.
That's super exciting. There's already billboards out there. You can see my face on a billboard next to Steve Carell and John Malkovich.
And that's going to be on Netflix, yes?
It's going to be on Netflix. I think it's going to be a very, very good show. I've seen all 10 episodes already, and it's very freaking cool, man. And we all love each other. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun one. And it's just great to kind of get to be part of that all-star group of like comedians. And it's created by Greg Daniels and Steve, who obviously were the creators of The Office. So it's going to be good. It's going to be real good.
What's it like working with Steve Carell?
Nicest guy on the planet. Like no bullshit, nicest guy on the planet. So chill. Cause I think people would be intimidated by Steve,
Right.
because he is such a huge star and so good at what he does. But you know what? He's just a regular guy, man. And we just chat, we chill, and that's it. Like when you hang out with Steve, it doesn't feel like you hang out with Steve or like a movie star. He's a dude.
And when is Space Force coming out?
May 29th on Netflix. All 10 episodes going to drop at the same time. I have a feeling people's going to binge it in like
People
a night
need
or
that
two.
content. People need that content.
Yeah.
So to cap off our show, we solicited from some of our followers 10 rapid fire questions
Sure,
that you
go
have to
for it.
answer. So you have to pick one, and the one that you don't pick immediately dies and falls into a hole.
Wait, so out of 10, I pick 1 out of 10.
I'm gonna give you all the options, and you have to pick one
Okay, sure.
of 2 things. The one that you want to keep. All right.
Okay.
First one, Ken Jeong or Steve Carell?
Oh my God, these are horrible questions. So the other person dies?
They just fall into a hole.
Oh my God.
You must pick one.
Well, geez, just for selfish reasons, for now, I got to pick Steve Carell or else I wouldn't have a job next year.
TJ Maxx or Marshalls?
Ooh, that's tough. Can I pick Ross instead? Is that an option?
Wow. No, but I see where you're going. You're a Ross fan. Now we know.
TJ Maxx or Marshalls because I get overwhelmed and something about the chaos in Ross actually makes me feel calmer.
Okay. You're a Ross man.
Yeah.
Hong Kong milk tea or bubble tea?
Hong Kong milk tea all day. Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, I love
good.
bubble tea, but Hong Kong milk tea is just the best. I mean, you can always do Hong Kong milk tea and put some bubbles in it.
That's what bubble tea is, right?
No, but bubble tea is never like super authentic Hong Kong milk tea. It's never right.
That's true. You know why? It's because Taiwanese people made it.
Okay, I'm not entirely. Yeah, yeah.
Korean barbecue or Cantonese barbecue?
Oh man, living in LA, I gotta say I'll pick Korean barbecue because it's rare to find even really good Cantonese barbecue. in LA, and I eat Korean barbecue more.
What about
But
the
if
tasu? No tasu for the rest of your life.
I mean, if I live in Hong Kong, of course I got to pick the Hong Kong barbecue because it's incredible over there. But here, like you rarely find like an amazing one, you know. So
Hmm,
and we have the best Korean barbecue in America.
that's true. Carne asada or taco al pastor?
Carne asada. I think it's more
Mm,
versatile. I can eat it all day. Al pastor is a
mm-hmm.
treat. I can't get it that often, but it is amazing. But I'll pick carne asada.
Hot dog or hot dog bao?
Oh, well, just based on the fact that I haven't had that bao in about 10, 15 years, I'll have to pick hot dog. But I love
Edibles or blunts?
edibles. I don't do blunts. I haven't smoked a blunt since college. It messes me up. Even edible completely messes me up. So I don't really. I dip vape every now and then, but I would take like an edible mint. Like Kiva has these mints, and I break them in half,
Yes, the five
and I don't get that high.
milligram.
I feel chill, and I go to sleep. That's it.
Yeah, so you don't have to 走火入魔.
Yeah, no, none of that. Yeah.
Rick Ross or Gucci Mane?
I mean, they can both fall in the hole. I don't really care. Uh, but I
Good
do like
Costco.
both of them. I do like both of them a lot. I'll say Rick Ross. That hustling song is a must. I
Mm-hmm.
play it at least once every quarter.
Nice. You ever request to do your cooking show while high?
I wait. Say that again. Oh, do a
You ever
cooking show while I'm
request
high.
from one of our viewers to do
Well,
the
how do
cooking
you know
show
I'm
while
not
high?
already high when I'm doing my cooking show?
That's what I'm saying. He's acting, you see? He's
Hmm.
acting. San Diego or Tijuana?
San Diego. You know, I feel I got a lot of buddies there. I love that town. Great food. All the carne
Mm-hmm.
asada,
Great
California
tacos.
burritos. And then, my buddy has this restaurant called Dirty Birds. That's amazing. The best wings. So I love San Diego, the Gaslamp District. Tijuana, I mean, can totally fall in a hole. I think, it only gets you in trouble. It only gets you. This is not a political statement. I'm just saying for myself. Like I think
I've gotten into
Tijuana,
a lot of trouble in Tijuana. Yes.
yeah, you go on a few
Yes, yes,
trips for college and then you're done. Like as an adult, you should never go to Tijuana.
yes. White Claw or Smart Water?
I don't drink White Claw. White Claw is very deceivingly dangerous because I tried it. I tried like Truly or one of those things once, right? They're all the same. And it
Mm-hmm.
tastes like
Yeah.
water. And next thing you know, like the second or third one, like your body just telling you something's wrong with this thing. Like it shouldn't taste like this. And it's kind of gross after the second or third one. I do actually like Smart Water. I always keep it around for hangovers or like I chug one before I go to bed after I drink and stuff. It's great.
Last one, Joe Exotic or Carol Baskin?
Oh, Joe Exotic, man. We need some more Joe Exotic content. Carol Baskin, I mean, killed her husband, so she could fall
He
into that
said
septic
it.
tank. Carol
He
Baskin can
said
fall into
it.
the septic tank just like her husband did.
And that was the last one. So if you can just close us off with maybe some words of wisdom for other Asian creators who maybe want to go into a creative career,
Oh,
leave
you
whatever
know,
world they're in.
I get this question a lot, which is kind of nice because I think for our generation, a lot of us wasn't an option for us. We really had to rebel or disappoint our parents to get into this. But it's good that, we're seeing more and more of me and you out there of movies like Crazy Rich Asians. So hopefully you can tell your parents, hey, this guy Jimmy is making it. He's doing fine. Why not me, So I always tell people, and I said this in my book before, that it's better to disappoint your parents for a couple of years than to disappoint yourself for the rest of your life. So go
Yes.
do what you love, at least give it a try and be realistic with yourself.
Thank you. Everyone, Jimmy O Yang has a new comedy special on Amazon. Watch that tonight with your moms. Make sure you catch Space Force later this month. And we'll see you soon.
Thanks,
Thanks
guys.
for joining us.
Thanks, Dolly. Appreciate it. Bye.
Bye, Jimmy.
Everyone, thank you for catching us on Plum Radio. If you missed this episode or want to re-listen to it, we'll be putting this up as a podcast. Wherever you podcast, this is called Plum Radio, and I'm Dolly Lee. Thank you, Jimmy, for joining us. If you want to see more stories like this, want more interviews with Jimmy or our last interview with Alice Wu, make sure you support us on Patreon, patreon.com/plumradio, and we'll be back again next Sunday.